Hey everybody, my name is Ronald, and in this week's video, we're going to ask the question, how do you get your friends into wargaming? The first thing in order for you to get your friends into wargaming is to find some friends. No, but seriously, in order to play games with people, you've got to interact with people. That might not be your strong suit, and I'm not trying to make anyone feel less than by what I'm about to say, but if you're getting into Warhammer or one-page rules or any other type of similar war game, it's way more fun if you've got somebody to play with. So how do you go about doing that? Well, here are a couple ways that you might be able to. First, go check out your friendly local gaming store. They would love to have people come into their business in order to play there. And more than likely, the other people who show up at your friendly local gaming store also want to play as well. So you might be able to luck out real easily just by going and hanging out at the game store that's next to you. But I get it. Maybe you live in a smaller area where a game store isn't quite so close by. I just recently talked to a creator. He's really fun. His name is Grover. His channel is Old Ones with Dice. You should go check it out right there. And he let me know that his local game store for a long time is an hour and a half away. Now that might be fun for a Saturday, but that's not going to get you any type of like quick casual hang time after work or school. So where do you go if you don't have a friendly local game store? Well, check out Discord. Maybe there's some Discord channels near you that will have gaming groups or people who want to play. Maybe it's a Warhammer Discord or a one-page rules Discord or something that you might enjoy getting to just hang out with and coordinating with people from there. Maybe you could log on to social media and see if there are any gaming groups near you or people who are tagging games near you who want to play. Or maybe you've got some work buddies who would like to play Warhammer with you just because they're kind of nerdy like you are. Or maybe you've got neighbors or people from church or the hiking group or Craigslist. Maybe there are people. Okay, there are people somewhere and you can find them, I guarantee. And if you really do still need some people to hobby with, would you please consider my Patreon? I've got a Patreon that I'm just now starting to really get off the ground, and it's just casual nerd wargaming, and I'd love to hang out with you. We hobby once a week. We just chill out and do something hobby related together. I answer your questions. We listen to some chill music. It's a real low-key time. And if you're interested in supporting more than just that much, you could also support and get a couple scenarios from me. One every month that is fantasy focused and one that's sci-fi focused, just to let you and your friends experiment a little bit with your games. And you can support the channel. I'd really greatly appreciate it because it would mean a lot to me if you would show me that support. If you're interested, you can go to patreon.com/acceptablyoptic to sign up. Thank you a lot. Okay, but no, for real, how do I get friends into wargaming specifically? Well, do you have friends who are like board game adjacent? You know, they really like playing board games and it feels like they own all of them. Well, okay, if they like rolling dice and moving meeples, and there's a strong likelihood that you could get them into Warhammer because it's pretty darn close to that. Or maybe you just have artistic friends who they might not get into a war game just because of moving the models around the board, but they like to paint and be creative and crafty. There's a whole section of the hobby that that's the thing that we like to do. Or maybe you have friends who are just really into the lore of it all. Right? They've read all of Game of Thrones. They've read all of Harry Potter or Stormlight Archive or my books that are down in the comments. That if you like fantasy books, you could read some fantasy books that I wrote. I wrote a lot of fantasy books. You could read them. They're down there. Maybe you just have friends who are into the lore of it all, and you think that would be the thing that could get them in to wargaming. Or maybe you've got some gamer friends who really enjoy playing, you know, your PS5s and your Xboxes and your Nintendo Switches, and maybe they would get into it because of that. Or maybe you have friends who just enjoy the models, the little mini parts. Like, that's kind of fun. Like, just messing with the guys and moving them around the board. I have fun with that. Okay, so step 1, get some friends. Step 2, introduce them to Warhammer or one-page rules and see if they might be willing to come over and play a game with you at your place. And I assume at your place, maybe it could be, again, a friendly local gaming store you get together with. But here's step 2, your first game. Not yours, but the ones you're playing with your friends, right? Really, I would suggest keeping it small. You might love the epic 6,000 point battle versus another 6,000 point battle that takes 7 hours. That might not be the best way to introduce your friend to a war game. I say keep it pretty light, 1,000 points, just to get them started. Maybe even 500 in case it gets weird and they find out early they really don't like it. Another thing you can do is explain as you play. I know a lot of people who love to explain all the minutiae of the rules and what you can do, but really, if you're trying to get somebody interested into wargaming, set it all out in front of them and explain as you go. Hey, this is my turn to move, so I'm going to move these guys like this. And they move 6 inches, and here's the dice. Okay, now it's your turn. Who do you want to move? As someone who's played Dungeons and Dragons and has really enjoyed being a game master, a great thing to remember when I'm leading a new party of adventurers is I want them to roll a dice as quickly as possible. So the same needs to go for you and your buddy who is now learning a war game. Get them rolling a dice as quick as you can. Don't belabor the point and explain all the stuff. That can come later. That can be a part of that's really fun, but explain as you play. Another good tip is to pre-choose an army for them. I know that a lot of people really enjoy like creating armies and putting together like synergies, and this hero works with this unit over here, and when they combine to form their Voltron, it becomes this massive thing. Like, it could be really fun, but also maybe a little overwhelming for somebody's first game. Go ahead and have an army already made for them. Or even better yet, make 2 armies, one for you and one for your friend, and then let them choose, right? Okay, well, do you want to be the elves or do you want to be the robots? Which do you want to be? And have that already set up for them so that there's not a lot of having to choose and then create an army. All of that stuff can come later. Pre-choose an army for them, choose 2, let them pick one, you play the other. Another great thing that I would suggest is if you're inviting them over to your place, go ahead and have that board set up. Get your kitchen table all ready with your terrain, and if you need some terrain and you're not sure how, I've got a video right here on how you can make some terrain. It's super easy, super cheap, and will look just fine for your games. There's something really cool about playing with your minis on an actual table designed for the wargaming rather than just your regular kitchen table. That makes it a little more fun. Also, I suggest feed them. Give them some food. If they're coming over to your place or you're going to go out and play at a friendly local gaming store, go ahead and grab them a bite to eat. They're taking a risk with coming and learning a new game. Hey, feed them some pizza or hamburgers or Chipotle or whatever it is you like to eat. You should just be a good host. And the better host you are, even if they don't love their first game, maybe they'll enjoy hanging out with you. And that could be a real win. Oh, also, pro tip, let them win. I know you might want to show off like how great of a general you are with your first army and totally annihilate them when they come to play the very first time, but can I give you a hint? People don't like to lose. Maybe it's just because I lose all the time. Instead of, really showing them all of your wargaming prowess and tactics and techniques and stuff like that, maybe do some things that might not be the most tactically advantageous to you so that your buddy can win on their first game. Make it close, that's fine, but if you let them win, promise they might be hooked. Or if it's super close, comes down to the last dice roll, they might really be interested in this game that you're having them play. And then step 3, do it again. Get a date on the calendar. If they had a good time and they enjoyed it, go ahead and plan the next time you want to get together. Don't just like leave it up in the air. Say, hey, this was fun. Do you want to try like again in 2 weeks or next month? I've got a buddy who we've got a date that we planned out 2 months in advance for him to come over to the house and play some one-page rules. It's taken a while, but we got a date on the calendar. He's going to come. It's going to be awesome. And then last, have fun. I want you to have fun with this new friend who's coming over to play some war games with you. That's what this hobby gets to be about, is having a good time playing. Now, you can totally get the best army in the world and dominate the competition, but if you're inviting somebody in for the very first time, my suggestion to you would be to just have a good time and have some fun. And if you think that a game like Warhammer or 40K might be a little overwhelming, I really suggest checking out One Page Rules. If you haven't heard about them, they're a great game company that I've really enjoyed hanging out with and playing games with. And their games are literally just one page of rules in order to learn how to play it. And for somebody that's learning war games for the very first time, it would be a great introduction for them because there's not a ton of rule books to sift through, and it can get them used to the idea of wargaming, and then if you want, let them figure out what Warhammer is as that next step up. Or maybe you just both enjoy playing one-page rules and you stick there. Whatever it is you do, I want you to have fun. But be brave. Go invite a friend to play a war game with you. You enjoy stuff. I'm sure they enjoy stuff. You guys could enjoy stuff together and it could be a lot of fun. I would really hope that that could be something that you can do and that you could do with friends. And then who knows, you might even turn a one-on-one game into a gaming group that meets together regularly, and you can have a really good time there by just playing with a bunch of buddies. That's what I hope happens to you, but I'd love to know what you think about that. Is it easy to get friends to get together and play with you? Do you find it difficult? What's been a good strategy for you that's worked? Put it down below in the comments. I'd love to know some wins of getting somebody into wargaming and what that looked like for you. And if you struggle with it, let me know too. That's fine. Let me offer you some encouragement or some tips. I am extremely extroverted, and nothing would make me happier than to give you a couple pointers that you could use to get friends over to play war games. And if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, find that little bell down there, subscribe. It would mean a lot. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, thanks so much. Really appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you're having a great time and a lot of fun out there playing war games with your friends. We'll see you next week.